Deeply in the book Enthusiasm, it is a spiritual force, a sacred fire that ignites the soul and fuels every meaningful endeavor in life. It is the unseen current that powers dreams, sustains perseverance, and transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary legacies. This book does not treat enthusiasm lightly or superficially, it treats it with reverence, as a divine quality available to anyone willing to live with purpose, faith, and openness of heart. From the very beginning, the book guides us to understand that enthusiasm is born from within. It is not triggered solely by external rewards or applause, but rather, it emerges when we align ourselves with something greater, when we feel that our work, our relationships, our goals are part of a larger tapestry. This inner fire burns brightest when we are serving a purpose that moves us, that speaks to our core values and longings. We begin to see that enthusiasm is a form of devotion. When a person is enthusiastic, they are not merely excited, they are committed. They are spiritually invested in the journey, not just the destination. Consider the artist who paints through the night, not for fame but because something inside them needs to be expressed. Or the teacher who returns to the classroom every day, even after decades, because she believes in the light within her students. Or the father who builds his business brick by brick, not for ego, but to create something lasting for his family. These people are not driven by fleeting energy. They are moved by enthusiasm, by an enduring fire that cannot be dimmed by obstacles or fatigue. The book gently leads us to recognize that enthusiasm is not just for the naturally positive or charismatic among us. It is a choice, a cultivated mindset. Many people mistake enthusiasm for high energy or extroversion, but in truth, some of the most enthusiastic people are quiet, steady, and reflective. Their enthusiasm is like a river beneath the surface, deep, persistent, powerful. They have simply made the decision to believe in something, to love something deeply, and to pour themselves into it without needing validation. The author shares compelling real-life stories and examples to illustrate this. One such story is of a woman who, after losing her job, began volunteering at a shelter. She found herself pouring heart and time into helping others despite having so little for herself. But through her enthusiasm for service, she was transformed. Her purpose returned, her spark reawakened. What began as an act of desperation became a calling. This reminds us that enthusiasm is often reignited in our darkest moments, when we choose to keep showing up with love and intention, even when life gives us no reason to do so. Another key message in the book is that enthusiasm is contagious. When someone operates from a space of true enthusiasm, they radiate a kind of energy that uplifts others. It's not manipulation, not forced optimism, but something far more real, a sincerity that touches people deeply. Think of the coach who believes so fiercely in his team that his players begin to believe in themselves. Or the nurse whose gentle enthusiasm comforts a frightened patient. The impact of one enthusiastic soul can ripple far beyond what we can see. Yet, the book does not shy away from the truth that enthusiasm can fade. Life tests us, the journey gets hard, disappointment, betrayal, failure, all of these things threaten the fire. But herein lies one of the most beautiful and profound insights of the book. Enthusiasm must be tended like a sacred flame. It is not self-sustaining without care. We must nourish it with rest, with solitude, with inspiration. We must protect it from the cynicism of the world, and most of all, we must guard our hearts against the bitterness that chokes enthusiasm like a weed. The author encourages us to cultivate daily rituals that reconnect us with what lights us up. Reading something inspiring in the morning. Spending time with people who uplift us. Creating, moving, reflecting, whatever helps us return to the core of who we are and what we love. Because the truth is, enthusiasm can be rekindled. No matter how long it's been since we felt that spark, it is not gone. It is waiting, quietly, for us to return. The book also explores the relationship between enthusiasm and faith. Not necessarily religious faith, but a deep-seated trust, in ourselves, in life, in the unfolding of the path. Enthusiasm and faith are close companions. To live with enthusiasm means to believe that your efforts matter, that your dreams are worthy, and that even when the outcomes are uncertain, it is still worth showing up with your whole heart. When faith wanes, enthusiasm flickers. But when we strengthen our belief in possibility, in meaning, and in the unseen hand that guides us, enthusiasm surges anew. There is a transformative lesson here about detachment from results. Enthusiasm does not require us to always win, succeed, or be recognized. It only asks that we stay connected to the reason why we began. One story in the book tells of a man who spent years building a community garden in a struggling neighborhood. The project faced countless setbacks, theft, weather, lack of funds, but he kept going, not because he was guaranteed success, but because he loved the work, the people, the soil beneath his hands. His joy came not from the harvest but from the planting. That is real enthusiasm, loving the process, even when the outcome is unknown. The book also addresses the quiet enemies of enthusiasm: comparison, perfectionism, self-doubt. When we constantly measure ourselves against others, we lose sight of our unique flame. When we obsess over doing things flawlessly, we forget to enjoy the act of doing. And when we doubt our worth or our path, the fire dims. The author invites us to shift our inner dialogue, to replace, "Am I good enough?" with, "Am I giving my best with love?" That one shift can breathe new life into tired souls. In a world that often worships speed, results, and image, enthusiasm reminds us to return to essence, to joy, to purpose, to inner alignment. It teaches us to ask not just, "What am I doing?" but, "Why am I doing it?" and, "How am I showing up in the process?" It invites us to lead our lives not with pressure, but with presence. Not with fear, but with wonder. The transformative power of enthusiasm lies in its ability to make even the mundane feel sacred. Washing the dishes can become a moment of mindfulness. Writing an email can become an act of service. Walking to work can become a quiet celebration of being alive. When we infuse our moments with presence and passion, life stops being a series of tasks and becomes a flow of meaning. Perhaps the most beautiful teaching of the book is this: enthusiasm is a gift we can give the world, no matter our role, status, or circumstance. You don't have to be a leader to inspire. You don't have to be rich to be generous. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. If you approach life with love in your heart, energy in your step, and purpose in your actions, you are a torchbearer, you light the way for others. Enthusiasm reminds us that we are all artists of life, and the paintbrush is in our hands. Whether we're building a business, raising a child, healing from loss, or starting over, when we do it with enthusiasm, we are giving life everything we've got. And in doing so, we are transformed. So, as this book closes its pages and leaves its imprint on your heart, the question it gently places in your hands is this: what in your life is asking to be met with more enthusiasm? Where have you dimmed your light? What dream, what purpose, what part of your soul is quietly calling you to return?